You're listening to Brian Sussman on Hot Talk 560 KSFO.
Hey, everybody.
No drive-through.
You can't help but bounce up and down when you hear this song.
Yep.
Okay? It's a bounce up. Oh, the Friday Idiot Reel is here, OV. The politicians, the celebrities, the elites, the whack jobs who say things that would make a rational person bury themselves in a bottle of rum. Let's see who's on the reel. Obama first, admitting he's not been successful. Then you've got Supreme Court Justice Breyer. If you want to shoot guns in Washington, D.C., hey, just take the subway to Maryland. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer talks about don't ask, don't tell. He says it discriminates. And then Congressman Michael Capuano from Massachusetts, he says this tax bill that has now been shelved, it would kill children. Ladies and gentlemen, it's often entertaining. Never duplicated. The Friday KSFO Idiot Rail.
Is there the sense out there that you've been successful?
No, I don't think there's a sense that I've been successful. I think people feel that Washington still is dysfunctional. Now, we've actually made some improvements, mainly in areas where I've got complete control.
If these top income levels get more money, they don't just use it to buy yachts and boats and more houses. They use it to buy Congress people.
They're not just against it. They're mad about it. They're in a rage. I mean, there's somebody in the House using the F word to describe the president.
There are people on both sides of the aisle, Bob, who have been unhappy because the nature of compromise is that you have to accept some things that you don't like in order to get the things that you do.
I recognize that folks on both sides of the political spectrum are unhappy with certain parts of the package, and I understand those concerns. I share some of them.
Our belief is that the Health Care Act will go forward, and that it is constitutional, that it improves people's lives, and particularly this is the basis, as I said, the provision that allows us to finally address the lingering discrimination against those who have a pre-existing condition.
Where specifically does the Constitution grant Congress the authority to enact an individual health insurance mandate?
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yes, I am.
What is the scope of the right to keep and bear arms? Machine guns? Torpedoes?
Well, in the case...
Handguns? I'm just pointing out, does it tell you here?
I understand. It didn't provide for a ban on all handguns as they had here in Washington, D.C.
Are you a sportsman? Do you like to shoot pistols at targets? Well, get on the subway and go to Maryland. There is no problem.
Speaker-elect John Boehner was on 60 Minutes last night, and once again, he could not keep himself from getting really emotional. Take a look.
Making sure that these kids have a shot at the American dream, like I did. It's important.
This guy, I'm sorry, he's going to be Speaker of the House, and he's not going to invite me to his Christmas party. But this guy has an emotional problem, that every time he talks about anything that's not raise taxes, he cries.
And when many kids get up to half their daily calories from school meals, it's clear that we as a nation have a responsibility to meet as well. We can't just leave it up to the parents.
And when that day happens, the young leaders of this DREAM Act movement will go on to accomplish great things with your lives. You will go on to become lawyers and teachers and doctors and members of the U.S. Senate to replace those old white men.
Don't ask, don't tell is a policy of officially sanctioned discrimination. It forces brave men and women to lie about who they are, and it compromises the military's core value of integrity every day.
As a Christian, no one has to remind me of the importance of Christmas. My question, Madam President, is where were their concerns about Christmas as they had filibuster after filibuster on major pieces of legislation during this entire Congress, taking days and days of the people's time here in the Senate on wasteful delay.
Some people on the Republican side are trying to slow us down. They say, we want you to read these bills. One of these bills will take 15 hours to read, the other one a whole day to read. We're trying to persuade them to stop this obstruction, to stop slowing us down.
None of us want to add to the deficit. And as I've said before, the biggest hypocrites in the world are people who yell deficit all the time and want to add $700 billion to it over the next 10 years. It doesn't make sense.
This bill will kill our children with very little input or benefit at the moment.
Tax cut for the wealthiest 2%. Most egregious of all, the estate tax provision that they have that benefits not 1%, upper 1%, not 1/2 of 1%, but 1/4 of 1% of the American people.
We have a constitutional duty to do congressionally directed spending, and I don't want to give up that responsibility. I can't understand why some of my more conservative members here want to give up their power.
An economic recovery plan that is free from earmarks and pet projects. This bill does not have a single earmark in it. Not a single earmark. Without earmarks or the usual pork barrel spending. I'm proud that we passed a recovery plan free of earmarks.
Well, guess what? I guess he's not going to have any earmarks to have to worry about passing, because that bill was pulled.
That bill won't fight. That bull won't fight.
That dog won't hunt. That bird won't fly. Oh, well, God bless the Republicans. They're finally starting to act like conservatives. Wonderful thing.